ahora vamos a presentarles a Billy Borley, quien nos acompaña con Christchurch School. No, can you hear us? Welcome.
Hello, everyone. My name is Billy Burley. I'm the Director of Admission at Christchurch School, which is located in Virginia on the East Coast of the United States, about 2.5 hours south of our nation's capital, Washington, D.C., and about an hour east of the capital of Virginia, Richmond. I look forward to introducing the school, answering your questions. As we get started, I would love to share a video with you that introduces the school. It's a great chance to get a feel for the setting, the teachers, the students. So I'll start with that, and then I will present a bit more to you right after.
At Christchurch, we really meet students where they are, and that happens from the moment they step foot on this campus.
For me, I had always lived at home, which is a big adjustment, obviously, but from there, just week one, met my friends for life, pretty much.
The community truly is one of the best communities I've ever been in. People that you've never talked to have come up to me and been like, "What's up, Lonnie? How's your day going? Nice job in this." And I was like, "I had no idea you do. I did that."
Favorite things about Christchurch is how it's different from other schools because it tries to find every strength that every kid has and find a way to direct that towards that person's growth.
We help students explore who they are as a person and what's important to them. In 9th grade, they're already becoming self-reflective about what kind of learner they are. And we really think about their skills, not just in the classroom, but outside the classroom. And we celebrate all of that. And all of those things come into play when they're applying to college.
Everything I do at Christchurch flows into everything else. One thing that I've really picked up from the school is not just checking boxes and give it my best shot,
Taking honors classes my senior year helped prepare me for the rigor of college, having a personal connection with your teachers that really want you to thrive and help you and get you through your assignments regardless of how hard they are. And then, of course, transitioning into college, you have a leg up because you know how to live with people, you know how to interact with people, live with a roommate, stuff you wouldn't otherwise be comfortable with if you stayed at home.
The range of experiences kids have here is astounding to me. Every teacher is given the freedom to find ways of getting kids involved in ways that don't happen in other schools. The things that we do in class are in support of what they'll do after class. We focus not so much on them speaking perfect subjunctive, but them being able to go to a turtle reserve in Guatemala and talk to the people there about saving turtles and help them on a project that they have.
Christchurch faculty really gets to know the students very well. We all live here together through our advisory programs, the classes we teach, just through hanging out at lunch and weekends, activities that we put on. There's a real emphasis on building those relationships.
Being an alum at a school where I can come back and people are happy to see me back on campus and I'm happy to be back on campus, I think that's important. Christchurch will always be home.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed that brief video. It's always nice to get a feel and a sense for the people at Christchurch and the community. As we go, you'll pick up a few more details on this, but I'm sure something that stood out is that our students are really engaged in learning. We teach in a very different way. It's very experiential, very, very hands-on, very little just sitting in class. Lecturing. A few of our signature programs at Christchurch are marine science. We're located right on a big, beautiful river called the Rappahannock. So it's a great opportunity to get out and study science firsthand on the water. Sailing is another major program at Christchurch. We won the national championship recently, and then we have a handful of strong sports teams as well that I will talk about as we go. So at Christchurch, we and our students really see ourselves as a global community. So that doesn't just mean students from different countries. It means students who are really interested in becoming global citizens. And so for a lot of our domestic students, that means students from the US, that means that they come to the school planning to travel to other countries, to meet students from other countries. And so that makes Christchurch an incredibly welcoming and positive place for students coming in from other countries. At Christchurch, we're very intentional about how we support international students. We recognize that some international students have different needs from students from the US. So we have a full-time international student coordinator to help with everything from plans over breaks to the visa process to tracking flights to staying in touch with parents and keeping you updated on how things are going with your student on campus. Christchurch brings in a variety or a range of students as far as English abilities. Some come in with perfect English and need no support. Some come in needing ESL, needing English as a second language. And we offer that. We can help with that. Students do need to have a basic level of English proficiency, and we can help them from there. College counseling, that's a really important part of a college prep school like Christchurch. For students who are coming for a 1 year or a short-term experience, this is not as relevant, but for students who want to come to Christchurch until graduation to stay, it's an important program. And so Christchurch is a small school of about 230. So by the time a student gets to the point of going through the college guidance process, being assigned a college guidance counselor, their college guidance counselor will know them very, very well. And so they will help them not only with the process, but with finding the right fit, finding the school that's competitive, that they can get into, that they'll be happy with. So at Christchurch, we're an SAT and ACT prep center and test center. And the college guidance staff will guide students through the whole process. 90% of our students are accepted to at least one of their top 3 choices. So students graduating from Christchurch have excellent college options. Here is a sampling of some recent schools our students have gone on to. And another interesting statistic, 90% of last year's graduates were accepted to schools on the Princeton Review's top schools list. So the education at Christchurch is unique. I talked a little bit about that earlier. It's very engaging. It's very hands-on. There's very little time just listening to lectures in class, and a lot of time is spent doing hands-on learning. Just some photos of students in science classes in our Makers Lab. Christchurch has strong programs in both the arts and athletics. This is a brief video that I'll show here. We have a fairly mainstream visual arts program and offerings, and we have a very robust performing arts theater offering where students actually have the opportunity to write and produce the play themselves. So this is just a brief video that introduces our arts programs or gives you some images of students in action. So I hope you enjoyed that. This is just a few more photos of students in class. The bottom right is a student working with a college guidance counselor. So one of the most important parts of boarding school and selecting the right place is the community life, culture, life on campus. That's one of the greatest aspects of boarding school. I think, most American boarding schools are going to give you an excellent education, and from there it's about fit and what's your experience going to be like both in and outside the classroom. At Christchurch, 85% of our teachers live on campus, myself included. I live right in the center of our campus. And so that all leads to a really positive experience during the school week where teachers are available to give students extra help on their homework, provide a very high level of structure and support that leads to student academic success. At the same time, that busy schedule, that high level of support means when the weekend rolls around, students want to have fun and relax and recharge. And so our faculty transitions from a school week where we're really helping and focusing on academics to the weekend where we're really focusing on helping you have fun. And so there's a team of teachers that are on duty every weekend to offer fun activities from, sitting on the beach or water sports on campus to shopping in DC to going to dinner in the movies, lots and lots of options. So within each dorm, there are what we call prefects. So those are student leaders that will help you get settled in, help guide you through the year and keep the dorm organized. And there's also a faculty family that lives in the dorm and oversees the experience, keeps things safe, things fun, and structured. This is an image of the exterior of one of our dorms. It's called Fay Dormitory. That's the outside. In the middle, the top right is just an image of students walking to class in our central campus. And the top left is a typical dorm room. So at Christchurch, students can fill out a roommate survey. So coming in your first year, you tell us, do you want to be with an American roommate? Are you an early riser? Do you sleep in? Are you neat? Are you messy? And so we really try to craft that pairing so it's a really positive experience. And then if you're coming for a second or third or fourth year, you can select your roommate. So this is another brief video just to give you an idea of interactions with students on campus, what our community and culture feels like. So Christchurch is an Episcopal school, branch of the Christian church and Christian faith. So a lot of our core values that really structure our community life on campus come from Christian principles. Students of other religions are welcome and often feel comfortable, and we can take them to their various churches on Sunday. I mentioned early on Christchurch's general location, but to bring it all together, we're near multiple big cities, Washington, D.C., Richmond, Williamsburg, which means lots of resources, but we're also in the countryside with lots of space, which means a very safe, open, positive environment. And what's really unique about Christchurch is the countryside that we're in is also a vacation area. So we've got all that space and safety, but really good activities nearby, great dining, great entertainment. So we really enjoy all of that. Just a few images on the screen here. The top left is our, it's called Puller Marine Science Center. That's a relatively new building on campus. You can see a view from Central Campus down to the river. And then you can see an aerial shot of our whole campus on the right, just next to the Christchurch School logo. Christchurch's campus, as you can see, you'll see a lot of buildings clustered together, even though there's a lot of space. And so that's intentional because Christchurch is meant to feel like a university campus where you're moving about from building to building throughout the day, but not having to go too far. But then the campus really takes up the majority of this picture. So it's lots of open space. So last, but certainly not least, is athletics. Christchurch has some very strong athletic programs. Our sailing team is won the national championship and continues to be very competitive and attracts a lot of students at the same time. It's a really different, unique offering. So if you've never done that, you want to learn how to sail, we can teach you. Some other standout programs at Christchurch are soccer. Our team just made it to near the end of the state finals and unfortunately lost, but had a very great competitive season. Lacrosse is a very strong sport, as is basketball, and our swim team won the state championship last year. Christchurch is a small school with very strong teams. So what that means for the typical student is you can be on a very good competitive program, but you still get to play. You get to participate, whether you're the star or someone who's learning. You're there, you're a part of the team. You're not just sitting on the sideline. Some of our students are less interested in athletics and more interested in other options. So we have some alternatives in the afternoon, such as robotics, model, United Nations, e-team, theater, and we have 2 hours every day dedicated to these athletic offerings. Just a brief video to show you some images of our students in action during sports. Okay, so that is Christchurch School. I am happy to answer any questions that anyone has, and I appreciate you spending time with us today. Are there any questions I can answer?
I think we have some questions here about the religion. How the religion is very strong, Catholic, Christian.
Sure. Yeah, so we're a Christian school, and the specific type of religion within Christianity is Episcopal. So we're an Episcopalian school, which tends to mean religion is a little bit less involved than it would be in a Catholic school. We do, however, have a lot of Catholic students at Christchurch, and we take them to a nearby Catholic church on Sunday. So there's a level of required services. We do a required chapel 1 day a week, a service that's going to feel very familiar for really, most Christian students. But then there are also lots of optional ways for students to get involved, such as our vestry program, for example, morning prayer, most mornings. And then of course we take students to their individual churches on Sundays.
Here, another question. What is the student day like at Christchurch School?
Yeah, so great question. I would say the start to the day, there are two aspects that make Christchurch a little bit unique. And so I'll talk about those and then quickly work through the full day. But the first is we don't start class until 9 a.m. And the reason we don't do that is because there are a lot of studies that teenagers aren't functioning well early in the morning, first thing in the morning. So as a boarding school, we don't have to fight that. We can structure the day the way that it's going to fit our students best. So we start at 9 a.m. Another unique aspect of Christchurch's schedule program is our classes and the class schedule. So we have 3 to 4 classes a day that are much longer. So they're between an hour and 20 and an hour and 30 minutes. And so that allows us to split the class time into multiple sections, maybe just do a short introduction and lecture. And then, as I referenced earlier in the presentation, pivot to very experiential hands-on learning that often means we do something called peaks, which basically is a chance for students to get outside the classroom and do hands-on experiences, such as in a marine science class, going out on the water and doing a field study as a marine biologist would. So those are the 2 unique aspects. Other than that, it's 9 o'clock, you have a class. We have free time between each class. You don't just go straight to the next class, but there's something like club time or chapel or lunch between each course. Then we have so 2 classes in the morning, lunch, 1 or 2 classes in the afternoon, depending on the day. If it's 1 class, we have something in the afternoon called skills, which is a chance for students to go meet one-on-one with their teachers, get some extra help, or if they don't need that, get a jump start on their homework. Students go to sports for 2 hours. They have free time, about an hour and a half for free time and dinner. So in that time, it's very common to see students just hanging out, playing ping pong or basketball, or just hanging out with their buddies outside. And then we go into study hall. And when students at Christchurch finish their work, we incentivize good work and using your time wisely. So once you finish, you can go to the gym or go to the waterfront, do whatever you do to unwind in the evening. And then we ultimately go to bed. And then the weekends are very different. There's much less structure, specific times, and a lot of options and trips and activities that students can sign up for.
Last question, how is the weather in winter?
Yeah, so the weather at Christchurch in Virginia is one of my favorite aspects of the area, because Christchurch is pretty much in the middle of the East Coast of the United States. That means we get all 4 seasons. So when students arrive, it's pretty warm. And then the next few months are very mild, very comfortable. And then we go into a fairly short winter. So it's kind of fun because you get a little bit of snow, but then it goes away. And then we go back into the mild period, and then it gets really warm again. So you kind of go through that full cycle in a year.
Perfect, let me check here. Could you please share with us the price for the academic year, please?
Yeah, sure. The price for a full year is $53,900 US. That includes everything other than the medical insurance. So if a student needs international medical insurance, that's not included. That tends to run about $1,500 per year. And then of course, students will need spending money as a spending account. Outside of that, it includes housing, it includes coursework, it includes supervision, everything that goes on at Christchurch. And then if a student were to come for a shorter period, it's basically based on the percentage of the year that they're there. So if they're there for half of the year, it's roughly half of the cost.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, really.